Some of you will remember in my last video that I had to do a little bit of research to figure out who Kratos was. Because a lot of you are requesting that beard shape. And as it turns out, Kratos has a ducktail beard. I managed to recreate the beard on my friend Raheem, which I thought looked pretty good, but I also said that if you guys gave me enough comments asking for it, I would do a DIY version. Well, the internet has spoken. So once again, I will be sacrificing my own beard in the name of science. I'm going to show you guys today how to trim Kratos' beard on yourself at home. Because as you can see, I'm in pretty bad need of a beard trim. Let's get into it.
My name is Matty Conrad, and this is the part of the video where I usually explain why a middle-aged bearded barber from Canada even has a YouTube page and works with GQ and blah 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 blah. But today, let's do something a little different. The thing is, being on YouTube means that you have to have a pretty thick skin because, like it or not, the comment section can be kind of an ugly place. But when I walked into my shop today, there was a postcard from Glasgow on my station that read, "Hey Matty, hello from Scotland. My name is John. I have autism. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed is your videos on YouTube. I've been growing a beard, and your fun videos and Instagram posts really put a smile on my face. I wanted to write to you and say thank you. You won't know what you've done for my mental health, but thank you. Stay handsome. John." Well, John, we all need help with our mental health from time to time, and you sure just helped me with mine. So thank you. Thanks for your kind letter. And this video is dedicated to you. I hope you enjoy it. Hi guys, I'm Matty Conrad. Welcome back to my channel. Now, the last video that I made had a lot to do with the ducktail beard, mostly because everyone is asking about this character Kratos. I did a little research on him and I found out who he was and what his beard looked like, more or less. And then I tried to do it on my friend Raheem, who is one of my clients. I thought it turned out pretty good, but there's some of you that decided that there's no way you were going to try that on yourselves at home and you wanted to see a DIY version. Fair enough. Today, I'm going to recreate the Kratos beard on my own beard, and I'm going to teach you guys all the steps that you need to know how to do it yourself at home. But first, let's get into the nerdy stuff. All right, guys, you know I'm a huge nerd for this stuff, so today we're going to talk just a little bit about beard anatomy. Now, beard styles are incredibly diverse, and these days there are dozens of different styles that you can choose from. Something that was formerly considered the sole property of Canadian lumberjacks has now become increasingly common and are no longer seen as unkempt or unprofessional. But a lack of basic instruction about beard maintenance has left an entire generation turning to the internet to learn how to trim their own beards with varying degrees of success. While guys with short beards are usually able to maintain a reasonable level of maintenance using a trimmer and guards, guys who prefer longer beards usually need to seek professional advice. So I spent a lot of my time focusing on tips for shaping longer beards. Now, longer beards are usually broken down into three primary shapes: the round bottom, the ducktail, which is a triangular bottom, or a square bottom. Now, each has its own benefits and suitabilities, but for this video, we're going to be focusing on the ducktail beard, because that's the Kratos beard, and that's what you came for. So let's explain the anatomy of a ducktail beard. First, we have the walls. They're located here and here. These are the sides of the beard, and on a standard or full face shape, these should be relatively straight up and down to keep the shape as lean as possible. On a narrow face shape, or if you just prefer a fuller beard, you can angle the walls slightly outward as well. Next, we have the base. That's located down here. This part usually dictates the shape of the beard. On other beard shapes, this area will be rounded or straight across. But on a ducktail beard, this area comes into a soft point in the center, which means somewhere around here, there will be a corner. This is the point at which the walls stop angling up and down and start turning inward. The front face of the beard is this area, located directly below the lip. When it's viewed from the side profile, you can see that it is usually flat, running straight up and down, or sloping slightly forward. From the side, you will also get a good look at what I call the shelf. Bottom? No, that sounds like we're talking about his backside. I mean, I'd call it his undercarriage, but that sounds a bit too much like we're talking about genitals, so let's just stick with shelf. Either way, it's the underside of the beard. This should either be square across or sloping downwards, never sloping backwards, unless you want your face to look very, very chubby. Then there's the outline, which consists of the back line, the baseline, the top line, and the lip line. This is arguably the most important part of the beard. And finally, the mustache, which consists of the peak, which is the center, and the points, which is the outer edges of the mustache. And now you understand basic beard anatomy. Congratulations. All right, so as you can see, the ducktail beard is a sloped and pointed beard. I've got not as much growth as Kratos does. I'm gonna do my best to try and recreate that shape for you guys. Now it's time to do the dirty. Let's see if we can go recreate Kratos on my face, because I'm in need of a beard trim. First thing I'm going to do is change into a white t-shirt, and I think we've already established in previous videos that a white t-shirt is a really bad idea for beard trimming. It makes people itchy just watching this, but this is also the best way I can show you the shape, so I'm going to sacrifice this t-shirt for you guys. Step 1, washing the beard. In the video, I used a hot towel to reset the beard and get rid of all the kinks and weirdness, but when I'm at home, I do it a little different. I wash my beard with the Victory Barber and brand Beard Wash. Now, I designed this myself. It is perfectly pH balanced. It's great for leaving the beard feeling soft and manageable. It has a built-in beard oil that is BeauBAR oil, which is protein rich and does all sorts of really good things for the skin. It also has activated charcoal, which is great for soothing any kind of irritation. So I'm gonna put that on my beard and lather it up, and I'm gonna leave it for about 60 seconds. Which is incredibly boring to watch. So let's talk about the tools that we're going to use today. I'm going to use my Wall 5-star Vanish shaver, my Arc Paragon scissors, a wide tooth comb, a pick, my Stylecraft Sabre trimmer, my Victory Barber and brand beard brush, my YS Park vented Denman brush, and my Beardscape Pro V2. I'll have a link to all of my tools in the description below. All right, now it's time for a rinse. And speaking of links below, I've got a 15% discount code just for you guys for watching my YouTube videos. Just go to our website at www.victorybarber.com and type in the code YouTube15 when you check out, and you'll get 15% off all of the products on the website. Okay, now that we've rinsed that, I'm just going to pat that dry with a towel. I don't want to rough it up. I just want to get the moisture out, and then I'm going to go through it with a pick to detangle. I always recommend using a pick to detangle your beard when it's wet because it puts very little pressure on the hair. Step 2, blow drying. In the video, I grabbed my Dyson blow dryer and I did a few things to try and get the beard into its nicest shape while drying it, one of which was rolling the brush through the beard, which is much easier to do to someone else than it is to yourself, but here's what it looks like when I do it. I'm going to grab a Denman brush and I'm going to start with the airflow downwards. This is the big tip here, is make sure that the airflow is facing downwards. That's how you get rid of the flyaways, and it helps encourage the beard to lay down just a little bit. Now I'm going to work the brush back and forth through the beard, and I'm trying to get it a little more even. But if the beard is getting too flat, you can just blast some air up from underneath and it will help fill the shape back out. And so here I am rolling the brush through the beard, and you can see that it's clearly kind of awkward to do. I mean, in the video here, it looks really easy. It looks like I'm just whisking it through, and to do to other people, it actually isn't that hard. But for some reason, the angle when you're working on yourself is a little bit of a struggle. Then I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to brush the hair down and out so that it fills the shape out nicely in this direction. Step 3, roughing in the shape. All right, remember when we started roughing in the shape, it was about establishing that dropping V shape on the baseline. The only difference you're going to find between a short version and a long version is that it's a slightly more shallow V shape. I'm going to grab my wide tooth comb and my clipper, and I'm going to comb all the hair down, and I'm going to start to rough in a slightly more shallow V shape. I do want it to drop into the center. I just don't want it to rise up too high in the back, something more like this. I'm then going to take my clipper inverted, and I'm just going to punch that line in. I'm going to rough it in at first, and then I'm going to spend a bunch of time going back through it and refining it, just making it look as clean as possible. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect, but the cleaner it looks, the easier this whole thing is going to go. You can now see how much has come off the right side of my beard, and I'm going to pick an angle on the other side that mimics the exact same angle to make it look nice and balanced. Now you want to make sure that this line descends from the corner down towards the Adam's apple. As you can see, it comes into a nice soft point in the middle. I'm going to comb the beard down several times just to make sure I get all of the flyaways and all of the hairs that are tangled underneath the beard. I really want this to be as uniform as possible. Roughing in the back line can be a little bit tricky, and so I'm just going to take the hair and I'm going to comb it diagonally down and back. Then I'm going to take my clipper and I'm going to use it to set a line that goes vertical in the back. And then I'm just going to use it to clean up the hair around the ears and the sideburn. The goal here is to try and get rid of that puffy area of hair that collects around the back. This creates a lot of bulk at the back side of the beard, and I want it to look just a little bit leaner. So by pulling the hair back and setting the back line, it allows you to remove some of that bulk while maintaining your shape. I'm then going to balance it out and do the same thing on the opposite side. Alright, so you can see there's already a lot of hair on my shirt. I'm just going to take my blow dryer and blow that off. And I'll just vacuum that up later. Let's move on. Step 4. Freehand. So you can see in the video I started at the back side here, making the walls nice and vertical. This is going to help me create a leaner shape. The difference with the shorter version is that I'm actually going to take those walls a little further forward, so I'm going to extend that more towards the chin, working panel to panel to create a nice continuous shape. All I'm really trying to do here is clean up all the flyaways and get rid of any of the bulk on the side of the beard and make the front of the beard a slightly more narrow shape. Okay, time to repeat the process on the opposite side. I'll comb through this several times and repeat the process to make sure I get all of the flyaways. Now comes the tricky part. Instead of doing freehand straight up and down, I'm going to pitch the clipper to a 45-degree angle, basically to take off the bottom corner that is formed on the beard. This is going to narrow out the bottom of the shape, so I'm going to work my way forward using this 45-degree angle, and I'm going to go over and over to just contour the shape of the beard into a nice soft point at the front. This part seemed to get the most amount of questions, so pay attention here. I'm going to take several passes until the shape starts to look a little bit smoother. Then I'm going to repeat on the opposite side. For those of you that are ambidextrous, this should not present much of a problem. I, however, am not. And it takes me a second to try and figure out what the angle is supposed to be while looking in the mirror and trying to do things backwards. So take your time with this one, and make sure you line up the clipper and get the angle right before you proceed. This is where that initial roughed-in shape really comes in handy, as you're usually following the angle you've already set on your baseline as sort of a guide. Now, if you've done this right, the overall shape of the beard should start to look a lot more like a ducktail. That is a triangular bottom that has a soft point at the chin. Which means you're ready for step 5, the outline. The important part here is just matching up the angles from the top and the bottom. You can see that they're both parallel. And I'm going to do that same thing on the shorter version here. So So I'm going to take my Stylecraft Saber trimmer and I'm going to match up my top and bottom line, just like this. Now this is the part where I usually do my little cheek bending trick to get more of a curved line, which is how I usually wear my beard, but if you notice on the Credo beard, it's more of a straight line, so I don't need to bend my cheek, I can just put a straight line in using my trimmer. Once I finish the top line, I'm also going to edge out my mustache just to make sure it looks nice and clean. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just going to clean up the top of the mustache. I have a couple little hairs that stick out of there. And when it comes to the mustache, you can see in the video that I just gave him a little trim through the middle because Raheem likes to wear his points sticking out. But on the Kratos beard, they stick down. So I'm going to do a horseshoe mustache on myself, which means that I'm just going to take my trimmer from the center of my mouth and I'm going to roll it out to the sides and connect that through the bottom of the mustache so that my points are sticking down and blending into the rest of the beard. Then I'm going to clean up any of the hairs that are poking straight forward, mostly because my girlfriend hates those. Apparently, I'm the first bearded guy she's ever dated, and the only comment she ever has is that occasionally she gets poked in the face by my mustache, which usually is just a surprise and is unpleasant, so I usually try and keep those clean. That's looking a little better. Alright, let's refine that baseline. In the previous video, we tilted his head way back and we just cleaned up the hairs that are sticking down below the baseline. I'm going to take my wide tooth comb and I'm going to comb the hair straight down with my head tilted back. This is going to give me a nice drop on the beard shape. And I really want to refine that line and make it as clean as possible. So once I comb all the hair down, I'm going to take my trimmer inverted and I'm going to make sure that V-shaped line is really nice and crisp. I'm also going to clean up the back line, still using that same diagonal backward combing method I was using previous. Now, this is still kind of tricky to see, and a lot of guys in the comments have given me some great advice about using two mirrors, which I think is an awesome idea, but I still haven't picked one up from the store. So hopefully in my next video, I'll be able to show you how to do that. For now, I just pull the hair out of the way and try and turn my head as far as I can to see that my back line is clean. And I'm going to clean up the hair around the ears. I really want that corner to look nice and strong, so I'm going to keep it really angular. Just get those last few stragglers on that baseline. And that's looking much better. Let's get the other side. I'm just going to use the trimmer now in its natural position to shave down the hairs that are growing from my neck below the baseline. This is going to take them down to a fine stubble and set them up perfectly for my electric shaver. Step 6. Shaving. Now in the longer version, there's not a lot to shave, but on the shorter version, you really want to shave everything that is outside of the beard's outline. So I'm going to take my Vanish shaver and I'm going to go over the top line and the back, and I'm going to clean up any of the hairs on the neck that are still growing below the baseline. It's really important to note that you want to shave these hairs down as fine as you can before you put them into a foil shaver. Foil shavers are only meant to take hair that is already very fine stubble and take it down to the skin. If hair is left a little longer, it has a hard time feeding into the foils, so make sure you go over it with a clipper or a trimmer first. As always, I'm going to finish my beard with my favorite beard styling product, which is Victory Barber & Brand Super Dry. I like to take a small amount of this and work it between my palms and then apply it directly to the beard. This is really going to help me sculpt the shape and it's going to help me keep the flyaways down. I really like this product because it doesn't look like there's anything in the beard, it just gives it a lot of control, but the matte finish leaves it looking really natural. After I've worked that through the beard and gotten all the flyaways to lay down, I'm just going to take a brush to break it apart and make it feel a little bit more natural. There it is, guys. We followed every step exactly, with just a slightly shorter version of the Kratos beard. And as you can see, you can definitely do this yourself at home. Now I gotta go find a vacuum.
All right, guys, there you have it. The Kratos beard that you can do yourself at home. All right? Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope these were some helpful tips and tricks for you guys. Try it out for yourselves at home. And if you're feeling a little nervous about it and you're not sure if you can get some of the trickier parts, then definitely go and see a barber. Remember, all the tips that I'm teaching you guys are not so that you can avoid the barber shop. They're just to help you get through the in-between phases when you're not able to go and visit your barber and you still need to look sharp. So hit like and subscribe for me. Leave your comments below and let me know what videos you want to see, because the next video, I might just be answering your question. Until then, good luck and good grooming.